Hello traders, it's Samurai Trader here. I'm about to give a recap of the 5 range Euro USD Forex market. But before I get underway, a couple of things I'd like to cover. On my YouTube videos, I tend to have a lot of new traders or potential traders and also failed traders and traders that are perhaps really struggling review some of my videos. And in both the webinars and live seminars that I run, I tend to meet a lot of traders that have given it a go and have failed, and it really disturbs me. I want to really quickly talk about a couple of key things. First of all, I want you all to stop searching for the Holy Grail. I've been trading now for over 20 years. The trade setups that I teach are basically for research that I've done over many years and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in research and development and programming. And do you know what I discovered in the end? There is nothing really new. That is, most of the setups that I use have been around for years, and the best of the best use them. Beware of any person that comes out and tells you, hey, I've invented something new, because there's very little that's new out there. It hasn't already been brought up in the past. So in other words, stop searching for the Holy Grail and focus. Now, when I look and go to these charts in a moment, we start to discuss these Forex charts. Some of you are going to look at them and think, wow, I could never do this. Well, traders, every professional was once an amateur and every master started out as an apprentice. It all looks too hard. Well, can you drive a car? Can you remember the first time that you hopped in a motor vehicle? If it was a manual, you had to push the clutch in to change your gears, and you had to apply the brakes and use the indicators. It's confusing. However, within a few short lessons and a month or two of driving, you had it down pat, and now you can probably drive right across the city and not even remember half of a journey. Everything was automated. Can you ride a bike? Of course. In other words, anyone can learn to trade as long as you have the passion for it. Probably the most important message I have for all new traders is that first of all, you really need to develop the belief that you can do it, and you can if you give yourself a sensible time to learn how to trade. That is, allow yourself at least 3 months to become a master at one setup. Now, when we go to the chart in a moment, we're going to be looking at a number of different setups. When you start to trade, you become a master at one. You become a specialist in one setup. I may talk about a number of setups. If I ended up coaching you, the big thing I'll be doing when I'm coaching you is we focus on one thing until you just develop what I call reflex action. In a blink of an eye, you can look at a chart and recognize it. We all develop that over a period of time. As Henry Ford once said, whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. Now, with our trade checklist, and whether you have your own trading system, forgetting mine for a moment, as long as you've got a good rules-based checklist, you can learn to trade. Now, in my case, with my trading setups, 95% of the strategies are mechanically based, and over 90% is rules based. So in other words, it's like a pilot having a checklist. You tick it off. Does it meet this criteria? Does it meet that? So anyone, if you can read, you can learn the checklist. Now, I love this statement here. If we did all the things we're capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. Thomas A. Edison. And it's so true, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to trading. Trading is the greatest business in the world. You can get started with as little as $1,000 if you're going to trade, say, mini contracts on Forex. You don't need to spend many thousands on education. You can spend a few hundred on education and be underway. So the big thing is having the confidence and the belief, but also developing the competence, because there's a big difference between having confidence and competence, a very big difference. And how we develop competence is by using the simulator, by gaining what I call screen time. Now, in a moment, as we go to this chart and we explore a number of trade setups, what is your profit target in your trading plan? Well, my personal target, as my traders know, is $200 a day per contract. Now, even at $100 a day, you can become extremely wealthy as a trader, having a risk factor of no more than 1 to 2% of your trading capital per contract you trade. You can develop and earn a fantastic income. There is no limit literally to what you can earn as a day trader if you start out day trading correctly. Now, if we consider medical specialists, and let's look at say a standard GP, a standard doctor, where they see all sorts of people for all sorts of reasons, and then go and compare an ear, throat and nose specialist, or an orthopedic surgeon. They generally earn 3 times more than the jack of all trades, than the MD. And please, if there's any MDs watching this, I say this in the greatest respect, but generally the specialists are the ones that earn the big dollars. And likewise, as mentioned earlier, I want you to specialize and master one trend following setup before you move on to another. Once again, I want you to develop what I call reflex action. Now, the big thing is, most of my traders, and those of you that have watched me trade live and or seen my recordings, or have attended a seminar where I've been trading live, I'm what I classify a sniper. I'm a sniper trader. One shot, one kill. Now, when I trade, I take on the mentality of a sniper. A sniper is there, will lay in wait for his or her prey. I'll just wait there. Now, thanks to the movie that's just come out, American Sniper, I think a lot of people have seen that movie. Fantastic movie. But they do quote one line there which I thought was great: know when to take your shot. And in our business, it's know when to take your trade. Become a sniper, and I can guarantee it will change the way you look at trading. You see, with most scalpers, or what we call day traders, a scalper's in and out throughout the day. I could easily have 20, 30, 40 trades a day. Now, I have a set profit target which works for me from a psychological point of view. I like to hit my target, maybe a little over, and finish for the day and go and do other things. And because I'm a trading coach, I'm working with a lot of different traders, both new and experienced. I've got my regular clients. I'm very busy, but I do have a target each day of $200 per contract, with the amount of contracts I trade. And once again, those of you who watch me trade know what I'm talking about here. But what I do is I sit back and I wait for certain setups. You see, in our business, our game is a business of probabilities. Successfully trading is a game of probabilities. The market has a memory, and what I mean by that is patterns repeat themselves every day. And another way of me explaining it is that really our job as day traders is to solve patterns. It's a pattern solving exercise. Our setups, we're looking for pullbacks, we're looking for rallies, we're looking for extremes, for a snapback, but they're all patterns. And that's the exciting thing that I want to get across to you in learning how to trade, is that if you can see and recognize the patterns, and if you follow the trading rules, such as your money management, the risk management, and all the other things that go with that, which we cover comprehensively in our training with you, you can succeed as a day trader, providing you start off by mastering one trade setup before you move on to another. Patterns repeat themselves every day. So becoming a world-class trader is less about being gifted. That is, I sometimes have newer traders and even failed traders say to me, look, it hasn't worked for me, that person's gifted, or it's all right for you, Ray, you've got 20 years experience, no wonder you can do it. But it's less about being gifted, but more about following the process, applying discipline and patience, and being competent at what you do. So let me say that again. It's more about following the process, applying discipline and patience, waiting, as all good snipers do, waiting for that trade setup. You see, it's not really you against other traders. And let me just say something about this. You see, trading generally is a zero-sum game. For you to gain, someone's got to lose. So it's not really, so in other words, really, in a way, you are trading against other traders, but it's really about you from a psychological point of view and the market. It's really about you sitting back and being patient. Now, there's a whole lot we could talk about when it comes to this. If you're wondering whether day trading is for you, or you've seen my videos or have been referred to me, please drop me an email at rayftrader@gmail. I'm quite happy to have a free 15-minute consultation with you on Skype, but please allow a couple of days for me to get back to you, because I'm very busy at times. But I'd love to have a chat to you about the type of trading that I do and how we can fast track you. Yes, we can fast track you. So anyway, no more about that. Let's now go across and have a look at some trades. So traders, what we're now going to have a look at is the FX market. So this is the euro dollar 5 range, and I've marked up a number of the trade setups that we have here, which I wish to go through with you. Now, once again, getting back to the newer traders, or those where perhaps trading hasn't been working for you, I have quite a few indicators on the chart. How we start off by training you is by stripping back. For an example, this indicator here, the MACD Platinum, we don't really need on our charts, particularly when you're first starting to trade, because we're mainly using that for counter trend trading, which is something that you definitely don't want to be doing when you first start. So please remember, we're working to a trade checklist, and we train you in these setups step by step. So let's start off with a T10. Now, the T10 setup has been around for a long time. Some people call it a money on the floor. It's a very high probability trade. It's an 80% plus accuracy trade. Now, each one of these candles is worth $50 if you're trading. It's a 5 range if you're trading the euro dollar. So we're going to get in when we can see here this line here we call the zero lag. When that turns cyan, we're going to short the market. Sorry, magenta I should say. When it turns magenta, we're going to short. So we're going to go short here on this candle, and we're going to be out here. We're after actually 12 pips in this particular case. Now, that's as a minimum. We may go as high as 15 to 20, but I don't want to get too much into that. Otherwise we'll end up with a 2-hour video here. But this T10 was a winner. Thank you very much. We then have an absolute classic. This is what we call an 89 200B, which is a bounce. We can see here we got the 89 and a 200. We're in an uptrend. We've come down and bounced. This is a highly accurate trade, and look at that, away it goes. For my experienced traders looking at the chart here, we can see here we got a T89. That is, we're extended well out of our channel here. We have an angle, and let me just show you this here. We've got great angulation here. Notice that wedge that we've got here. That is what qualifies it as a T89 with the entry outside the channel. That is a highly accurate trade when you get that extension. The further out of a channel you are, the more likely you're going to get your snapback, which is what happened here. Now, we've got right here a failed trade. We've got a T10, met all the conditions. You can see here our stochastic is sloping down. We've come up and pulled up. We've got the paint bar, but we got stopped out. It pulled up, rolled up, and then we got a secondary signal for a T10, which was a winner. Here we've got, and by the way, this is the market just a few days ago. So if you look at the date here, I think this is the, what have we got here? This is the, let me just give you the date here. This is the 16th of the 3rd of the 16th 15. So just a couple of days ago. So we can go down. We've got another perfect T89. And just on this point, this is the great thing about trading Forex, is you can start, of course, trading Forex with a mini account or even micro, but most start off by trading a mini. So $1,000 and you're away. It's a great way to cut your teeth, because remember I spoke about earning the right, or competence. How you gain competence is by executing trades. One of my clients is in London, and I was talking to him a couple of days ago, and he's been and I know he's going to be listening to this recording, and I really got stuck into him because he's been making some fatal errors on moving stops and breaking his trading rules. If you're a pilot, do you waver from your trading plan or from your flight plan without permission? Of course not. You've got your flight plan you must follow. Likewise with trading. And I said to him, you must, for the next 100 trades, follow them without breaking them just once, not once, otherwise you've got to go back again. Because what happens is we develop what we call reflex action. We develop bad habits, and the reflex thing is we start, for an example, when we know we shouldn't be counter trend trading, we take the counter trends, or we break our rules by moving stops, etc. So it's critical in learning to trade that you follow the rules exactly. Likewise, I'm just amazed at the amount of people and even other educators and coaches that say, well, look, it's just a simulator. The client's on the simulator. It doesn't matter if they have a few losses. It does matter, traders. It does, because what's happening is you are hard wiring habits into yourself. So you've got to treat the simulator that you're exactly the same as if you're trading real cash. And our rule, or my rule, is you've got to be able to execute 100 trades minimum exactly to the trading plan without any variation that's unqualified, or you have to go back to the drawing board. You see, you've got to remember that learning to trade is a lifetime career. You can earn an enormous amount of money over your trading career, and you can get in it for less than, well, $1,000. So why not do it right from day one? And it's just amazing how many people want to be cheap with their education and learning how to trade. It just amazes me. It's the greatest business in the world. Anyway, back to this. What I've got here is another T10. I'm not going to go through all the rules with you right now. What I want to do is just show you here some typical trading of the Forex market. Now, talking to another trader just today in LA. I'm down under in Australia at the moment, but I've got a lot of clients in US and in Canada, and we were just talking about this week. Of course, is triple witching week. You've got the options expiry, etc. And we were talking about the differences in volatility, where I used to trade mainly a 7 and an 8 range FX market as far as the candles go, but now they're 5 because volatility overall has been lower. That is why, by the way, we trade range 5 range. Now range bars, of course, are very different to time-based charts. And by the way, on the MT4, for the MT4 users, you don't have range. You can buy coding for range. If you Google it, we've also coded range candles for MT4 as well. So range makes your charts a lot smoother. Back to this one. I'm digressing a little. Got a lovely T10. Notice here our long-term stochastics up. We've got a curl up, the paint bar, we're in, away we go, and another T2. This is a cross between a T1 and a T2. Now remembering this here, traders, if you're trading a standard lot, that's about $150 move there. Now if your target is $100 to $200 a day, the reason, by the way, we go for a minimum of 12 ticks is this, that our average, say, spread or commission spread that we're going to pay is around 2 ticks. Yes, I know we can get it down as low as 1 and sometimes even lower, but let's be generous. So I'm after, and because of my stop is generally including the spread is 12 ticks, my minimum gain I want to be targeting is 12, if not more. And using a zero leg, you can see it makes an excellent tool for trailing on the Forex market. It works much better using a zero leg on the Forex market than what it does on the futures market. In the futures market, you get a lot of false breakouts, etc. So it's fantastic on the Forex market. Here I've got another T89, a counter trend trade. New traders, remember, you're not going to be doing or trading a T89 to begin with. Let's move along here. Now what we've got just down here, we've got another beautiful 89 EMA bounce. Now that one, because your entry was not till up here, and take into account your spread, you would have not exited till up here somewhere. Now you actually had two 89Bs in a row here. You had one, and your secondary one, your entry would not have been to here. Now why here and why not there? Remembering we're always waiting here for our zero lag to turn up and to turn cyan for long, magenta for shorts, cyan for long. Down here we've got another beautiful 200B bounce. The 200 is the 200 EMA. New traders, you will learn this. Be patient. Allow yourself 3 months to master this. Remember, every master was once an amateur. We all start somewhere. We had another beautiful T89. What made it a T89? My entry was outside the channel. When you get these extended moves, you get what we call angulation. Over here we've got here another 89 bounce. You can see we bounced, but it was a no trade. Why is that? Notice here that our zero lag is still heading down. Traders, there's only 3 or 4 things that you're really looking for to execute a trade. That's all. Now if you said to me, what strategy am I going to begin with, Ray, in learning how to trade, it's taking these paint bars with in the direction of the 89 and 200. If the trade's not in a direction of these two lines, forget it. You're not going to take the trade. It's as simple as that. So your two T1s and T2s generally are what you're going to be learning to trade with. Let's move along a little here. Now remember, I've just taken a random day, the last few days. Another T2, perfect. Now here you were not out till up here if you're after a minimum of 12 ticks. If you're scalping the market, you might have got out early, or as experienced traders do, they add to their positions with their secondary signals. So you we're still in this one, you added to this one, likewise you added to that. You just picked up 3 winners in a row there, and thank you very much. You just had one here, and you had a T89, which I hadn't marked there. That one, by the way, would have been a loss, but then you just picked up a lovely winner here. Here we've got a T10 right here, not a big winner. And just remember, traders, and this is sorry for the newer traders if I'm losing you a little bit here, but when you're just above the 89 of a 200, remember they're magnets. They will attract price action, but also they act as severe support resistance, which means you're going to bounce off them, which is exactly what happens. So if you had events in here, and many of you have seen me trade live and see my recordings, you know that I always have my exit on these down here. I go to break even at least, and this is what happens. We bounced off and we had a beautiful 200 bounce right there. Then we had another beautiful T10 right there. So traders, trading, and just look at this, it's one trade after another. These are all rules based. They're 95% mechanical in nature. Now what's the difference? Why aren't they 100%? Well, there are a couple of things I do want to know. For an example, am I around a news announcement? Is there a red flag? For newer traders, there's a website that we go to every day just to check out news announcements, what we call red flags. Might be the FOMC announcement in the States, could be a certain retail announcement, or there's some major announcements. For an example, tonight it's Thursday night in Australia. Tonight in the US, I think we're at the Philly Fed announcement tonight, which is a big market mover. So when we have those big moves in the market, we actually make sure that, well, as day traders, we're not in the market at the time we exit. So every one of these trades I've taken, and we've had others in between, but what I've done is just taken the ones with the paint bars. See these? So every signal, if you look at that, winner. Let's forget our counter trends, okay? I'm not even going to talk to you about those. By the way, with these T89s, for the experienced traders, we're after a 2-to-1 risk reward, okay? So for every $10 I risk, I'm after a target of $20 profit, which, as you've probably seen, everyone, well, 85% deliver that. But once again, new traders, I don't want you trading them. But for the experienced ones, and for the new ones, let's go back to here. All right, these are all classic signals. But see, winner, 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 winner. So traders, you do have rough days as well, because one thing is that when you enter into a market where there's chop, or where the market's going sideways, of course, the market's going to get a lot tougher. We can see here we've had another winner. this was a 289 bounce, a T1, sorry, that was a T10, T1, had another one here. Now, by the way, there's one you would have been stopped on. You would have had a loss on that particular one. But if you look at this over here, this T89, is that, ignore that trade right there because that shouldn't be in that one. But if you just look at all of these with trends, and so just to recap, what we're looking at doing as newer traders and even the experienced traders, if you said to me, Ray, Samurai Trader, I want a lower risk trading environment, I want to have less sweat. By the way, you may have heard the old saying, he who sweats more in training bleeds less in war. What that means, of course, is if you're fitter when you go to battle, you're going to survive it and bleed a lot less. And likewise, when you're learning to trade, that is why on the simulator I want you to take at least 100 trades on the simulator, 100% to the rules of that particular setup before you even consider going live. Traders, one of the greatest disadvantages in learning how to trade is that it's so easy to open up a trading account and become a trader. But so many traders, and we know that over 90% of traders lose. That's right, over 90% of traders will crash and burn eventually. So I want you as your success coach to be in that top 10%. And how you do that is through patience, is through discipline. And because it's so easy to open a trading account and start trading because someone's told you how easy it is, after you blow your account once or twice, and sometimes not even blow your account, you do yourself a whole heap of psychological damage, and you become gun shy, and next thing you get a perfect setup and you hesitate, and you know what happens? The market runs and you get in late, and so many things happen. And that's one of the greatest challenges that I have with both the institutional traders and the private traders, is the psychological damage I've had through making usually errors in judgment, breaking their rules, breaking their money management rules, etc. Because trading, by the way, can be very boring at times. It's not always excitement. Now, just before I close off, the other thing here is you don't have to sit by your charts for all of these. So if we look at this here, that's at 6. Well, it's not too bad. That's an hour and 20 minutes there. Now, if that's too many trades for you, and sometimes that can be 4 or 5 hours, if that's too many trades, we increase the time frame. There are ways there if you want to be more patient, that is, you don't want to take as many trades. So with this also is we have an alarm system. So what happens here is that, and let me just quickly show you this here. Let me just enable that. So let me just see if you can hear this. Whoops, sorry traders. Let me just get this right.
Strategy alert.
Right, so
strategy alert.
Strategy
alert.
You can be anywhere
strategy
in your house.
alert.
And this is whether you're trading with TradeStation, NinjaTrader, most trading programs.
Strategy alert.
Allow you to have an alarm. That is, with these trade setups, you can easily code them and have them here on TradeStation already coded for you. And for the people with trading platforms, for an example, MT4, I just give you all the settings, so it's easy to do and to set up. Here you simply set the alarm, and you can be anywhere in your home, have the alarms on, and they go off when the setup is there for you. So it's easy, it simplifies it. So you can be downstairs, upstairs, in another room cooking dinner and waiting for the trade setup. So traders, I trust this session. I went a little bit longer than really what I wanted to do, but in closing, traders, you have to aim to be in the top 10%. Trading is not rocket science, but I think because this week I've had a rough week in dealing with some really rough traders, that have found it really tough and made so many classic mistakes, and it tears my heart out because I want to see my traders succeed, and they keep breaking the most basic rules. And what I've noticed is that a lot of traders approach trading, well, if I'm just half okay, I'll do okay. Well, you won't. You have to have the target of becoming one of the world's best, and you can become an epic trader by focusing on one market, maybe a maximum of two, one or two setups, one or two time frames. Become a specialist. Traders, that's it until next time. Thanks
Strategy
for
alert.
listening.